Greetings and welcome to part 4 of the Flute series using essential elements. We're going to be looking at the orange belt for band karate. We're going to be starting on page 10 in your book, going from 41 to 58 in your book. Let's get right into it. So at the top of page 10, it talks about eighth notes. So an eighth note is half a beat. So they basically look like quarter notes, but there are two of them and they're barred together. So take a look at that picture. It says each eighth note equals half a beat. 2 eighth notes equals 1 beat. And right next to it, you can see that there's a picture of a quarter note, and underneath it there's 2 eighth notes. So if your quarter note is do, 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 eighth notes would be do day, 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 do. There's 2 on a beat. So you can hear how that's going to sound on number 41 in your book, the eighth note jam. Notice how the quarter notes are longer. When we were talking about that do day, the do is the quarter note, right? Do, do, do. The day would go in between. Do day, do day, do day, do day. But that beat is still going to maintain the same. Here's 41. 42, skip to my loo, is more practice using those eighth notes. It's more important than ever to be using your tongue when you're separating the notes. It's the difference between if you're huffing or just blowing and using your tongue. There's really no comparison. Tonguing, the articulation that when you're blowing is going to give you a much superior sound. Let's look at number 43, long, long ago. Notice that this one has P underneath it for piano, so you would try to play it as quiet as possible while still going for a good sound. You'll notice that on a lot of these, I'm skipping the repeat signs. That's because just to save time. You can still do the repeat signs. I would encourage you. It's great practice. Number 44 is O Susanna, still in 4/4 time. Remember that 4/4, the top number tells you how many beats are in every measure or box of music. In this case, it's 4. 4 beats in every box. Notice you have 2 pickup eighth notes in the very beginning, and your dynamic level is an F for forte, or loud. Moving on to page 11, at the very top, it talks about a 2/4 time signature. So until now we've had 4, which meant 4 beats in every box or measure of music. 2/4 means there's going to be 2 beats in every measure or box of music. Take a look at number 47 in your book, called 2x2. Notice it's 2/4 time, and there's 2 beats of music in every box. So the first box or measure is 2 B flats. Each quarter note is 1 beat. The next measure is 2 Ds. Each a quarter note, so 2 beats. The third measure is 2 Fs and 2 Es. That's 4 things, but they're eighth notes, so they're each half a beat. Stack them, so there's still 2 beats in every measure. Here's number 44, 2x2. Nothing else really changes. The beat still stays the same. Is your first orange belt song. It's called High School Cadets, and let's take a look at it. Notice you have the treble clef, you have your key signature, the 2 flats. Remember the key signature tells you all your B's and all your E's are flat because you have a flat sign on the 3rd line, which is your B, and on the 4th space, which is your E. Every good boy, and F-A-C-E for the space. You also have 2 pickup notes, the B, C, and then notice above the 2/4 it says Allegro. Let's figure out what that means. Look in the box, the orange box above 48, it talks about tempo marking. Tempo is your speed. We've talked about dynamics, which is volume. Tempo is your speed. How fast or how slow to make your steady beat. They're giving you 3 tempo markings there. The first one is allegro. That stands for fast. Moderato is a medium or moderate tempo. Andante is a slower walking tempo. Why are they called this? Why don't they just put fast or medium or, kind of slow? Well, the reason for that is that we have a musical system or a jargon, you could say, that anyone around the world can use. So if you're, say, speaking German or you're speaking French or English or whatever you want, you've got you see the same thing. You see allegro, and you know that it means fast. Okay, that way people that speak different languages or different nationalities can all come together, be given a piece of music, and they all know what it is. We don't have to find the English version or the French version or the German version. Okay, so that's why they do that. Also, we use Italian because when the standard notation system that we use today was being developed, it was being developed really in Venice, Italy. Italy was like the place for music, kind of like New York City for plays or Hollywood for movies. So hundreds of years ago, Venice, Italy was the place. All the composers, you wanted your music played in Italy. And so you were writing your pieces and using those markings for Italians. So that's why we use Italian now. It's just kind of become the standard. Okay, so here's 48, high school cadets. Pay very close attention that your quarter notes are longer than your eighth notes. Okay? This is also a good time to remind you not to write your notes anymore, but just to memorize where they are on the musical staff, because now you've got eighth notes, quarter notes, whole notes, half notes. When you see, say, a B flat, you don't know how long am I playing it. It doesn't really help you anymore. 49 is called Hey Ho, Nobody's Home, and you have a new note, note G. You already learned a G, thumb, 1, 2, 3, and a pinky. Same thing, just blow slower. The first G you learned was at the top of the staff. This G is on the second line, so it's lower on the staff, so the pitch is lower. Here's high D, low G. Here's 49. Notice that you're in 2/4 time, 2 beats in a measure. Moderato is your tempo, so a nice medium moderate tempo. And mezzo forte is your dynamic level, so just a nice medium. Even in this song, if you did write your notes in, you have high G and low G. By just seeing G, you have no idea which one you're playing. Look at number 51 in your book. It's called Play the Dynamics. So there's even more dynamics. Look in the orange box above 50, and you have something called a crescendo. It looks like this. Goes little to big, and then you have a decrescendo, goes big to little. So crescendo is to increase your volume gradually, so get louder. Your decrescendo is decrease your volume, going from loud to soft. So 51, you're going from a piano, and you're getting louder to a forte, and then you go from that forte, and you get softer to a piano with that crescendo and decrescendo. One thing about dynamics is you only want to insert dynamics as much as you can get a good tone. For instance, this is not a forte, even though I'm blowing really hard. This is not a piano. I'm not getting a sound. Okay, so only make your dynamics so much as you're still getting a good tone. Turn the page with me. We're going to go on page 12. Number 54, Faraggiata, is your next orange belt song. Notice that you have B flat, E flat in the key signature. 2/4 time, 2 beats in a measure. Moderato is your tempo for moderate. And there is a repeat sign. I'm just going to play it once. Across the page, on page 13, we have number 58, Hard Rock Blues. This one has 4/4 time, so 4 beats in every measure. Allegro, so fairly fast. There's a lot of rests in here, and there's also a repeat sign. Let's give this one a whirl. This is your last Orange Belt song. Rest, half, rest. Rest, half, rest. Rest, half, rest. 2, 3. Rest, half, rest. All right, so that is Orange Belt for band karate. The next video is going to focus on the green belt. Remember articulation. Start thinking about your dynamics, your volume control. Always be looking at the beginning of a song. Anytime you have a song, look at that key signature. Look at the time signature for how many beats are in a measure. Look at the tempo, the speed. Look at your dynamic markings. And that'll all help you become a better musician and to more effectively read pieces for the first time. Alrighty, take care.